They must have, like Star Trek, transporters to beam in more gifts. Think about it. If Santa's over the Galapagos Islands, let's say.
Yes.
And do you ever notice he always seems to start down there? Like, I don't blame him getting out of the North Pole. Get yourself down there, right? But if you're over the Galapagos Islands, and you run out of presents, you got to get them. You can't go back. So what do? They beam them in.
It's the Scott and Alley Not for Air podcast. The rules are gone. The shirt is untucked. Here's Scott and Alley.
I got Christmas jokes.
Oh, I should have expected this.
Welcome to the Scott and Alley Not for Air podcast, the final of 2024, episode number 3,412 and a half, and Christmas.
I think this is 159.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's exciting. Thank you all for that. For if anyone's ever been here, for all of them, thank you. If you're just joining, welcome. You'll never come back. If you're, no, I'm kidding. But honestly, it's great. But before we go on the break for the holidays, what did the rug say to the Christmas tree?
What?
Your balls are hanging. All right. How much did Santa pay for his sleigh?
Hold on. How much did Santa pay for his sleigh? I don't know how much.
Nothing. It was on the house.
That was good.
And then we ramp into the naughty one. Why did Frosty the Snowman pull his pants down?
Wait, no, because his carrot's on his face. I don't know.
He saw a snowblower.
Not good.
Nope.
Not good. Not good.
Any of them.
Not good at all.
No.
I have a Christmas question for you.
Yeah.
Now, there was a Guinness record of the most angels that had gathered in one location. If you were going to be part of a Guinness record of gathering of Christmas characters, which one would you pick? Angels, Santas, or Grinches?
Santas.
And why?
Well, actually, I don't know. So one of my favorite things in the house this year, and I wish we would have bought the small one, the Grinch Christmas tree. It's in the kitchen. I love it. I love that.
You have a Christmas tree in your kitchen?
We have a Christmas tree in the living room. We have the Grinch Christmas tree in the kitchen. We have a Christmas tree downstairs. You know the layout of my house, so you get that.
Your kitchen doesn't seem like a place that would. Yeah, it just doesn't seem like it would fit well.
But it works. It totally works because it's in the corner. Now you know the layout of my kitchen. It's in my kitchen's very long, not a galley kitchen. It's a big room. It's like 2 rooms, and it's in the corner by the water cooler, and it goes absolutely perfect.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And
so
we
wait
have
a
a Christmas tree in the bedroom. With probably more coming, but anyway.
Oh, right. Okay. So where are you guys opening Christmas presents under? The one in the kitchen? The one in the living room?
She'll be opening one underneath the blankets. So, it just
Dick
keeps
in
coming.
a box.
Well, I would imagine the living room one is the primary one.
I would think so, but although if you're having Christmas breakfast, the one in the kitchen is the smart one.
Well, but that's too thin. Okay, so I love the look of the Grinch tree because it's just kind of cool and different.
Silly, whimsical.
Wish I would have had a second one because they have a big one and a small one. Now, the big one's like 5 feet. It's not very big. It's not even as tall as I am. Mm-hmm. And, it's got the bend and all that. It's a Christmas tree, Captain Hook.
So does my ex-boyfriend.
Yes, exactly. That's not really a trio.
This is really not the podcast to be dirty. I'm trying to get presents and not coal for Christmas.
Oh, what does it matter? Santa doesn't have time to unload the sleigh before he leaves after this thing drops.
True. Yeah. Do you think that he is it's like a U-Haul? Do you think days before? I've never thought about this. Days before, do you think he's loading up the sleigh?
Oh, sure. Well, the elves are.
Right.
That's the way that goes.
Right. He's the boss.
Yeah,
You're right. It's like at UPS and FedEx and all that. No boss is loading boxes on trucks.
This is why things are being hidden from us. Oh, by the way, finishing off your question.
Oh, sure.
The living room one is the real active tree, if you will. The one when you walk in downstairs, it's nice, but it's totally meant as a quick, I'm walking by that's very nice, very festive. The kitchen, it's just a funny little piece there. The one in the bedroom creeps me the fuck out.
Why?
Because it's in the corner. All right, so as weird as this is going to sound, Allie also knows my bedroom, but only because she's seen the house. Well, you've stayed at the house when I haven't been there. So,
yeah, but I don't stay in your bedroom.
No, but my bedroom, as you know, is a big room, like the
Huge.
kitchen. It's almost 2 rooms, right?
Yes.
And
You don't even need that much room.
No, you really don't. But I have plans at some point in time, like a little living room in the bedroom. That's here nor there. I'll get to that.
Get away from everyone.
Yeah, a little escape in the bedroom. There's enough room for it. I'd like to, to build that out one day, But anyway, the tree is in the corner. So if you walk into the bedroom, you would walk straight, and you would see the bed.
Yeah.
And then on the right corner is where 6059 sleeps, and the tree is in that corner. And let me tell you, there's been more than one time that I've walked in that room when it's been dark and I've been like, Jesus, you have the moment. You're like, because it's not lit up at night. And I'm like, I'm thinking there's somebody standing in the corner. And, it just, anyway, that is the one side effect. So there you go. The tree thing's out of the way. You were asking about, the Santa's sleigh. Now, here's where we're getting bamboozled by our government, okay?
Okay.
So there's technology that exists that we don't have because they want to keep certain things in business. Think about this. The government subsidizes airlines. They've bailed them out millions of times over the history of airlines. And they want to keep the airlines because it's as much as you don't think it's a money-making opportunity, there's got to be money going somewhere that the government's getting back, because if not, we'd have a better rail system in this country, which sucks, right? So, no offense, I wish it was better. That's what I mean by it sucks. Like, I'd love to hop on a train from the southern tier of New York and ride up to Buffalo and not have to drive, it'd be great.
Oh, I would love it.
So at any rate, think about this. There's got to be technology that exists that we don't know about. Santa wouldn't have time to go back and forth to the North Pole after he unloads the sleigh, okay? And now I filled storage units. I know that takes time, right?
Right.
And so they must have, like Star Trek, transporters to beam in more gifts. Think about it. If Santa's over the Galapagos Islands, let's say.
Yes.
And do you ever notice he always seems to start down there? Like, I don't blame him getting out of the North Pole. Get yourself down there, right? But if you're over the Galapagos Islands, and you run out of presents, you got to get them. You can't go back. So what do? They beam them in. I'm telling you, this technology exists, and the problem with it is they're not sharing with us, because the minute that technology gets out, airlines, planes are grounded. You've got fuel that's not being paid for.
I can totally get on board with this.
This is why we don't have transporters.
And instead of saying "beam me up, Scotty," they would say "beam me up, Santa."
You're damn right. Yes.
Oh yeah.
ho, energized.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wonder if sometimes Santa puts on elf ears so he kind of looks like Spock.
Yeah, well done on the franchise,
Thank
Allie.
you.
I was waiting for a bad Darth Vader line in there, but that well done.
Yes.
So what you're saying is all the elves are actually Vulcan little people.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
So would instead of live long and prosper, would it be live long?
Build toys and faster.
I was even thinking like live long and be jolly.
Oh,
live
sure, there
long
you go.
And ho 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 it up. I don't. That's my mantra.
Yeah, that's it.
Live long and ho 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 it
Is
up.
the season.
That's all the Christmas stuff that I have.
Oh, all right. But it makes sense, doesn't it?
But yes, it does. But you talked about the government bamboozling us.
Yeah.
So one of the things that's been going on is the UFOs or the drones or whatever that has been flying in the sky.
Oh, God, right.
Over New Jersey. And people have been talking about shooting them down and whatever. For real, though, if this was a real thing, we just talked about this on the show, would you willingly get on one of those drones or UFOs? Let's say, for instance, there was one that was flying over Elmira, New York, and it was coming down. And you're like, aren't you kind of curious? At this point, we're a little bit more invested in sci-fi. I think there's still the unknown, though. But you as a person, if it came down and said, Scott, did you want to get on? Or
I'm
would
out.
You,
I'm gone. Well, I'm getting on for sure.
You would leave this, but you could possibly not come back. Which
That's
means,
all right.
But hold on, which means you would be leaving the show. You'd be leaving the kids. You never know. Never know.
Here's the thing. I would try to negotiate. I'd be like,
of course you would.
I'd be like, okay, listen, I'm ready to pop off this rock. I'm ready to see what's out there, because you got to figure, if this happened, the technology is far more advanced from that race. Now, I would probably, I would like to make the offer like this. I'd like to take my family with me, i.e. the kids, and say, listen, can
Not
we...
6059.
Well,
You
yeah,
better watch
obviously her too. And that's what I meant when I said the family.
Yeah.
But I'd like to take that, and can we all go together? I'd also invite you because I know that the aliens are in for a good probing, and so are you.
Yeah.
But think about this for a minute. I mean, their technology's got to be more advanced, and I wish I was born 100 years from now, and I would love to see what's there. Like, are we going to get the transporter like we were joking about with Santa reloading the sleigh midair? Are we going to actually get the flying something that we can drive around in? So
it's funny. I'm
I'd
the
like to
opposite of
go.
you. I would not go. I am so close to like family and friends. I would miss everyone too much. And there's that risk of like they would just be taking me. Even if it was them just taking me and Zach, I still would say no because I would miss all of my family and friends.
I would miss them in that sense, but I think it would be such an adventure. It'd be worth checking it out. It would be so cool to do.
And the funny thing is, I feel like I'm very adventurous, but in this case, no. This is definitely more your thing. I'm not surprised you said that at all. Are you surprised that I said that I wouldn't go?
A little, but it does make sense for you. But then I would almost be like, I feel like you're going to miss out on what could be the greatest adventure. Let me switch it up for you. Okay. Taking out the element of you'd be gone, you'd never see these people again. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, I'm going to get real British TV show-ish on you. I'm going to get real
sci-fi.
Real Doctor Who-ish, okay?
Let's hear it.
Let's say a TARDIS, that's his ship. You know, it's time and relative dimension in space, okay? You've seen the blue box. Mm-hmm. You got me a chocolate of it last year for Christmas.
Yep.
Oh, shit. I just remembered, too. I got to have 6059 bring up your Christmas present because I'm not going to see you after today till after the holidays. Sorry, my brain just went there. But think this over now.
Okay.
Here is the beauty of having, in this case, a TARDIS, the time machine, okay? Mm-hmm. It travels through time and space. So you can go to all sorts of different places, but also different times. And the doctor has used this line. I could have you back before tea. So let's say...
That's cute.
Let's say we go and, it lands right in front of you. Want to go for a ride? He's going to show you some of the universe. But here's the beauty of it. He could have you back before anybody knew you left. Would you do it? But you're going to be gone in your life for like 10 years. In your mind, you're gone. I mean, you're out doing stuff, but then you get back and, there you go.
That I would because I know I'm coming back. But mine, with this UFO, you don't know if you're coming back or not.
No, I would. I would totally go, though.
Oh, not me.
Yeah.
No way. I love living life with other people. One time I took this, it was kind of like a professional quiz about like how I am in the workplace. And one of my top categories it's called collaborator and how I love collaborating with people. And maybe not as much in the workplace, but I do like having the collaboration. So with family and friends. And yes, maybe I could make UFO alien friends, but I don't want to. I like the life I have here. So I'm not going.
Oh, all right. You can stay. Yeah, I'll send you a postcard from Stan.
Thank you.
Whatever the planet is.
Okay, I have another one. I saw this on Reddit, and I want to know, do you think that companies should have to do this?
Okay.
Companies should have to legally declare how long they reasonably expect their products to last. Think of like phones.
Oh, my God, yes.
If it's going to break after 3 years, just say so. Don't want to be watching the Super Bowl when my TV dies.
Yep.
Okay.
Here's the only problem with this, because these sorts of businesses, if businesses suddenly had to do it, there are both the smart and the shifty, and they all work for different, every company has the smart and the shifty. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's the same person.
Yes.
Like if you had to judge which one's the smart and the shifty on this show, you can judge that all you want. Figure it out for yourself. Yeah. Okay. So they're going to do it. They're going to follow regulation. Okay. The Donald puts it into law. Mm-hmm. Every single thing needs to have an expected life expectancy. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, certain things are going to go longer. Okay. I mean, I still got a Kirby vacuum from 1996 and it still sucks, So there are going to be those things that are going to last for a long time. And then there's going to be the ones that are going to time out and die right then. They're going to start charging more for the items. And so let's say you want that 70-inch Samsung television. But that 70-inch television only has a lifespan of, let's say, 5 years. They're going to charge more for that item. They're going to be like, well, we're going to, I feel that it's going to be a way to get more money out of us.
One of the things that I was thinking of was my hot water tank. So when I moved into my old house, I had a hot water tank from like 1992, and it lasted until 2020. So that's a good 30 years that this thing
that's
lasted.
a long run, yeah.
Yes. And then all of a sudden I get a new hot water tank in 2020. Right before I moved out of my house last year, the hot water tank went. It only lasted 3 years, the new one.
That one, I feel maybe there was a defect that you weren't, I don't know that would have happened again. I think you just drew the short straw on that
I don't know
one.
because my significant other was saying that that's happened at his workplace as well. They have put hot water tanks in. They do this usually for elderly people or people who are down out on their luck. And he said it is unfortunately something that's been happening a lot more frequently.
So the hot water tanks were built on a Monday at the factory is what you're saying.
I guess. But the thing is, this was right before I moved out. So I wish I would have known that this was a possibility. Or maybe I shouldn't have known. Because then the new owner is going to look at the hot water tank and go, well, this hot water tank is going to go. It only is supposed to last 3 years.
It's going to be a money suck.
Then that kind of shoots me in the foot. Then I have to negotiate in the house selling buying process. Oh, well, we know that this hot water tank is going to go in the next year or so.
Absolutely. Another great example of how putting expiration dates on things other than your carton of milk is going to end up costing us more in the long run for so many different things.
I guess I'm going to say no.
Yeah.
I'm going to say no.
I mean, I wouldn't mind. Maybe there is a website. I've never looked for this. Well, okay. So my dad, I'll never forget this. My dad was very well versed on purchases. He was as long as I can remember, and I want to say probably my entire life, up until he passed away. He used to get Consumers Reports magazine. Okay,
Yep.
Now I used to love it when the car issue would come out every year. But yeah, so he did this, and I feel there are, and I'm sure they're online now. I haven't looked something. Maybe I should get back to that practice. Actually, look up stuff before I blow money on it. I feel he researched and looked at for certain things that, okay, this had a good rating to last.
Yes.
Again, you could have a coffee maker that's built on the Monday first run in the factory. All right, it might turn out to be a turd, but I felt like it was better prepared for. So maybe not life expectancies, but maybe everything. Maybe do we point it to like today's version of Consumer Reports, which is probably online. I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Does it aim us there as opposed to them putting on there, powertrain, you know how they have that JD powertrain winner of the year. No, you're stroking your nuts here. Okay. I want to be like Consumer Reports rates this as a 8 out of 10.
Yes.
That's the way to go.
Yes. And also I think not in every case, but I think of with cars or other things like my coffee maker that I will do the things to keep it running longer. Oil changes, tire rotations. With my coffee maker, I do the douching,
Yeah.
And I think that I have things that have lasted longer. That hot water tank, what a freaking fluke on that.
So speaking of douching, let me come back to this. It's the things that can't come back to bite you with a lawsuit that don't have expiration dates. An IUD has an expiration date.
Oh, I got a story on that.
And think about that. The doctors recommend, 3 to 5 years or something like that?
Yep.
You get, one plug pulled, a new one put in.
That sounds awful.
Right. But you think about it. If they didn't have a recommendation like that, recommended lifespan, you know what's going to happen. And then there'll be a lawsuit if they didn't want pregnancy. You see what I'm saying?
That's another one. With milk and contraception, I don't mess around with the expiration dates. Remember, I had the...
I always recommend putting a rubber over your milk.
Remember, I had the Implanon? And it was every 3 years.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden it went to 5 years. And I was like, no.
We're not taking that chance.
Nope, not taking any chances.
No.
I had a girlfriend. Her IUD just came out and it was a holy hot mess. I'm not going to talk too much more about it because I don't think she would want me to. but I didn't realize that they could come out until
It came out without the doctor doing it?
correct. No,
Wow, that is a hell of a cough with that cold. Jeez.
I don't think it's supposed to.
I don't think, well,
But
it can happen.
Of
I've heard of
course,
cases.
anything could happen, but man, the after effects, brutal.
Yeah,
Brutal.
well, okay, so
I'm so glad I never got an IUD.
yeah, but the thing about it is the people that have them many times love the effects while it's in because everything kind of stops.
But that's why I don't think that's healthy. Now, I know this sounds a little crunchy, where it's weird. I get lip fillers, but I also like a crunchy lifestyle to a certain degree. And it is not healthy for your body that's supposed to be doing this thing every single month to not be doing that thing. It's not flushing itself out. Can you imagine not ever, I don't know, cleaning your toilet or something, or getting your oil changed? That doesn't seem healthy.
Well, no, but doesn't it more or less shut it off?
Well, it's not supposed to, is what I'm saying. You're stopping your body from doing something I feel like it should be doing.
I understand what you're saying, but then again, I stop and I go, if they were real worried about that, that would have been outlawed a long time ago.
I think I feel like it should be, because if you saw the pictures that I saw, oh man.
Speaking of which, why is Santa so jolly?
Oh my God. Why?
Because he knows where all the naughty girls live. Hey.
That one was actually really good. I love that one.
Oh, I got more.
Okay, give me another one.
Let's see here. Why doesn't Santa have kids of his own? Because he doesn't.
I know why.
He only comes once a year.
Oh my God!
Perfect for this conversation.
Now we're in the naughty joke.
Yeah. Well, why did the Grinch rob the liquor store?
Why?
He needed some holiday spirit.
Oh, that one's good.
You like that? This
Yeah,
is cute.
that was really cute.
I should have given you that last week. Allie did a live broadcast at a liquor store. You should have whipped that one out.
That's
on
okay.
people.
I'm going to do a live broadcast at the liquor store again at the end of January.
Oh,
I'll be back there again. I mean, although that joke won't apply.
how does Santa stay STD free?
How?
He wraps his package before going down the chimney. I'm sorry, it took me a minute. That one kind of got me.
I love it. Okay, one last thing that
Yes.
I wrote in my notes. So for today's I have two things. Oh God,
all right,
what am
well,
I
give it
gonna
up.
do? Okay. So did you see the story about a mom was surprised to see a man who broke into her home 15 years ago at a school orientation with his own child? Would you say something? I couldn't help myself. You know me.
Yeah, I know.
I can't shut the hell up.
No, you'd be calling the cop. Well, here's the
No,
thing.
you can't call the cops at that point. I mean, whatever.
Why not?
But what was done was done. Like, I think that it was, yes, that happened 15 years ago. The consequences happened then. I'm just seeing you again now, 15 years ago. I couldn't help but say something passive aggressive. I know your kid's right there. Think about that.
Well, make it worse. What if your kids are friends? No. Well, here's the thing.
I could not. I would have to. How do you stop your kids from being friends, by the way?
I got to be honest with you. I've had more than one conversation with Gavin about one of his friends who likes to be kind of a pseudo bully a-hole. And I'm
Ooh,
like,
that one. Yeah, get that one out
I'm
of there.
like, look, you may have known this kid a long time, but I tell him, I go, you're not going to put up with that. Instead of you getting all frustrated because he's not doing something you want him to do, or he's not playing the way you think that he should. And I'm not saying that Gavin plays everything the way he should.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it like, oh, Gavin's right or anything like that. But
Gavin is perfect.
listen, little kids can be manipulators too.
Oh,
Don't kid yourself.
They're the biggest manipulators.
Oh my God. So I tell him, I'm like, no, listen, that's not the way it's going to fly. All right. If it gets you that upset, you cut that conversation off right now. And that's the end of that story. You don't need that. I've had this conversation with him.
I think that my parents sometimes wanted to cut off certain friends. What's good about
every
it,
parent does with some kid, yes, for
Right.
different reasons.
for different reasons, but what I think is good is actually, like, one of them was one person they wanted to cut off was my best friend. But now later on in life, they love him and
Yeah.
they're like, you guys are probably going through a phase, but if there is a kid around your kid that is, let's say, stealing or, like you're saying, bullying, I would want to cut my kid off from that kid.
Well, it's the training. At least I hope this is right. I can't say that I have every parenting answer known to mankind, but I will say I want to teach him the signs of when something's happening that is not making him happy. He doesn't have to put up with it. How many times do we do that? I mean, that is something my generation, I'm a Gen Xer, that's something my generation never really learned. I mean, now we look like a bunch of badasses compared to millennials and well, the Gen Zers are coming along. I got to give them credit. But, we didn't have that. Like, it was... I feel like my generation adapted to situations more and kind of pushed things away and tolerated too much more. Now, maybe not as much, but earlier on than we should have. Whereas in Gavin's case, I want him to know the signs. Your friend's being a dick. He's trying to play you, and you need to cut it off. And that's all there is to it, because you don't need to have the bad reaction because your so-called friend is treating you the way that he's doing it.
Yeah.
And I don't care what the reason is. It doesn't matter to me. It's just, I'm not going to tolerate it.
You haven't gotten to the point where you said you cannot hang out with that kid.
No. Well, and I'm also very lucky. He's one of these kids that just seems to... He has found his group, at least for now, that they're in kind of a segment of pretty dang good kids. You know what I mean? Like, he's not... I hear stories of other situations, but... he's not interested in hanging out with a bunch of kids that are really causing a lot of problems. Now, I can't say every kid has a phase. Yeah. I can't say that when he gets somewhere in his teen years, he's not going to do some rowdy stuff.
Look at me. I stole Ronald McDonald from McDonald's.
Honestly, I mean, unless you're a nun or a priest, and I can't even guarantee you didn't have a little bit of a sordid past. Does anybody not have anything from their past? So it's as long as you're not hurting anyone or stealing anyone or putting us in a courtroom where you got to potentially go to jail or pay a big fine, you're going to screw off. It's part of life.
And you also hope that you raise your kid where the company they keep, like you're saying Gavin does, the company that they keep throughout their life tends to fall in the same moral circle that they do.
Yes.
Doesn't always happen, because I always think of, like, I saw this girl on, one of those press releases we get when people get arrested.
Yeah.
Well,
it is a set of emails I love getting.
I saw one of those press releases up on social the other day, and some of the comments underneath, so it was a girl that got arrested for, I think, like meth possession or something. And some of the comments underneath were fellow classmates that said things like, wow, she looks so different. I can't believe her life took such a downturn.
Yeah.
Things like that. And it made me feel so bad for her. I sometimes wonder, in that case, was it somebody who was just a bad influence that snuck in, that infiltrated her?
I think so. And there's a lot of people... I can't say this doesn't happen for guys, but I remember, and I'm going to go back to when I was a lot younger. I'm talking in my teen years. There were some bad girls. Let's just be real on this. And I'm not saying there aren't bad guys, but I think for a lot of girls where that influence comes in, you get attracted and can't snap out of the bad boy desire. Everybody likes the adventure if you're a girl of the bad boy. But don't you eventually go, I'd rather watch that in the movies. In my real life, I just want somebody to be decent.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, unfortunately, you're right. I had to muddle through some bad
and there's
frogs and
there's
toads.
the group. There are some of those specifically, and I'm saying this from the guy side, looking at like those pictures you're talking about so and so got arrested for welfare fraud, and they look haggard or stole from whatever. They got somewhere. At some point, somebody was their adventure, and they never were able to shake that out of their system, and it took them down a path. So, you got to watch for that.
Right, because the adventure just kind of became addictive.
So, exactly. That's a great way to put it. So, go all the way back now to your question on would you say something if 15 years ago? And again, I threw in the angle, what if the kids became friends?
Yes.
So, here's where, first of all, I'm going to answer it like this. You would not be coming to my house and being out of my sight. So in other words, you're the thief, Allie. Okay, you broke into the house. All right, the kids seem to do well together. Let's say they really, my kid talks about your kid all the time, vice versa. They really do connect and they do well. And maybe they're even in a sport together. So I'm starting to see the outline that you've probably improved your life. But until I am real comfortable that you can come over to my house, I'm not inviting you over even to sit on the deck and have a summer cocktail. Because you get up and go to the bathroom, I can't trust my jewelry box isn't going in your back pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Totally. Oh, no. And I don't think, I think that you're so friendly with parents, which is great. I cannot see myself being friendly with that person. This is how much like I'm the grudge holder and you're not. You're like, oh, okay, until I can trust them. I'm just like, no, I'm never trusting you. You're not coming to my house. I'm going to say something negative and we're never being friends. And I'm going to do my darndest to make sure our kids really, my kid is always busy when your kid wants to hang out.
Well, let's do it like this. Let's say the kids are doing well and I approach you at the gathering. I'm now the thief, okay? And I approach you at the gathering. And let's say we're in a situation where I go, I had a rough past. I had some things happen that I was not real proud of, but I'm really happy that, little Timmy and little Joey have become friends because I'm seeing those two be good influences to each other. I wish I would have had that when I was younger. And,
okay, Scott.
If I kind of come forward, because here's the thing too, I may not know unless I got arrested and we were in a courtroom together. I may not have known it was your house that I broke into.
True.
So what if I did, when I was a kid, and this is how it comes together in your brain. When I was a kid, I did some stupid stuff, I broke into a couple houses, never took anything of real value because, all the people we broke into seemed to be poor. But, what if something like that happened where they almost had in admitting or clearly came forward and said, I remember 15 years ago, I had to answer for some things that I did stupid as a kid, but I've turned my life around. I'm now the preacher at the local church. But whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Would that open the door for you to be more accepting at that point?
You're kind of changing my mind. I would definitely, like you were saying, I would need more than one hangout. Maybe we're at restaurant, park, wherever, where I can build up some trust and conversation.
Sure.
And really talk to you.
And because when our kids finally have that play date and I'm dropping them off, out of my back pocket, I bring that diamond bracelet that I took 15 years ago and hand it back to you.
Then yes.
We're tight.
Then we're tight.
What do you call an elf wearing earmuffs?
What?
Whatever you want. He can't hear you. We're not done. You had another thing, and then I've got a couple pickup lines for Christmas.
Let me save my other thing for next time. So it was actually, I appeared on a friend's podcast, and it was something that was said during the podcast. They said it in passing, and I just picked up on it, but I didn't say anything at the time. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to tell Scott. So I'm going to save that for next week because it's totally different. And and plus I know you have a couple other Christmas things.
Christmas pickup lines.
To stay in the Christmas theme, let's end on that.
All right. So if you're, let's say, at a bar or something like that, and you want to introduce yourself to someone, go up to them and say, "Is your name Jingle Bells?"
Okay. Is your name Jingle Bells?
Because you look like you're ready to go all the way. Do you like that one?
I do.
All right.
I do.
All right. Here's one more pickup line for the holidays. Hey, so let's say your left leg is Thanksgiving and your right leg is Christmas.
Oh, I've heard this one.
Can I visit between the holidays?
So bad. The first time I heard that, my mouth was open. I'm like, oh, that's so naughty.
I know. Want to see the North Pole?
Sure.
Well, that's what Mrs. Claus calls it. Hey-o.
These are so bad.
I got to save this tab for next year.
Oh, my God. Any other ones?
Oh, God. Let's see here.
One more. That's all you get.
How is Christmas like a day at the office? Ooh, this might be a good one to end on.
How?
You do all the work, and the fat guy in the suit gets all the credit. Ow! Hey, now.
Merry Christmas, you all.
Bye.
Well, that was fun. Wasn't that fun? That was fun. Do us a favor, will you? Subscribe. Share the Scott and Allie Not For Air podcast. Touch our buttons. We know you want to.